All right, Sam, we're on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Trevor's top three players. We have Jalen Hurts, we have Jalen Carter, and A.J. Brown, also considered both tackles, Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. I think there's other names to mention, but as far as the top three, is that the right top three here for the Eagles?
I don't know that Jalen Carter's there yet, is he? I mean, for you to put Jalen Carter in there, you basically have to forget the second half of the season ever happened. Um, he
From a data perspective, I'm a big like, hey, take the totality of things. From a narrative standpoint, a guy that didn't play a ton of snaps in college, did he wear down? Did, teams account for him a little bit more? I think the totality is impressive, but he definitely, other than week 18 against the Giants, did take a big step back in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's very difficult to know what to do with patterns like that, right, when they emerge. Like, was that just variance? Was that representative of what you're talking about? Did he hit a rookie wall? Like, what happened there? Why did you get a second half of the year that did not look like the first half? Where, to his credit, the first half, I mean, he was the best graded interior defender in the NFL for a period. He was there, for a stretch of games. It was Aaron Donald and Jalen Carter. Those were the two guys that were grading at that level, and then Carter stopped grading at that level for a while. So, for you to put him as the top three players on this team, given like this team in particular, with the talent that they have, as I say, in order to make that argument, I think you need to forget the second half of the year happened and assume that year two you're going to get first half of the year Jalen Carter for 17 games. Maybe that happens, but like that's the bar for him, because the alternative options are guys like Lane Johnson, who's a perennial all-pro at right tackle, Jordan Mailata, who is, maybe just a slight step below that on the left side. Even guys like Devontae Smith, who's like top tier wide receiver 2 in the NFL. Who else would I mention on the list? I mean, I think those, and then Saquon Barkley, obviously, the new addition at running back. Again, running back apologist Sam. Like Saquon Barkley, I genuinely think Saquon Barkley is about to have a career year simply because of the offense he's stepping onto. And even if it's not, he was pretty amazing his rookie year. Like, even if he's not going to have the same production in the passing game, I think you're going to get by far the best version of like rushing production that Saquon Barkley's ever had, which immediately puts him into this conversation.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on Saquon. I mean, if we were ranking top 10, I mean, I don't know whether Eagles ended up in our roster rankings, had to be high. But if we were doing top 10 players on teams, Eagles are up there. We talked about the Lions and their depth and the Cowboys and their depth in the NFC. The Eagles are right up there. They're third in roster rankings. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of names. I mean, if I was making my top three, I would probably lean on the more established tackles, right? Jordan Mailata, who's become just an unreal story that he's become an NFL player. Never mind a starter, never mind a high-end starter, and probably going to continue to get better. And Lane Johnson, even on one leg when he's played injured, even at this point in his career, still one of the more productive tackles in the league. I'd probably lean into those tackles plus A.J. Brown, maybe even over Jalen Hurts. I thought Hurts is very good. I think he's become far more consistent than I had anticipated. But some of last season's offensive lulls, I think, land on him as well. He did battle some injury. But we're talking about a lot of good players here for the Eagles. And, a lot of good choices there. Devontae Smith, who you mentioned, Dallas Goedert. I don't know if you mentioned him, but if we're, relative to other tight ends in the league, one of the top options there. The Eagles have just a lot of good players. So if you're ranking their top 10, they're right up there as well as anybody, as high as anybody.
Yeah, A.J. Brown is the clear guy, I think, that's unquestionably on this top three. After that, I think it's a good call. Like, Jalen Hurts actually might not make the three. The next name, A.J. Brown will be number one on my list. The next name I would put out there would be Lane Johnson. Like, he's just too good. He's been amazing at right tackle. Last year, again, banged up, still played at an insanely high level. They also give him less help than anybody else out there. Like, he has arguably the most difficult assignment relative to the rest of the league, like over 1,000 snaps at right tackle for the Eagles. So Lane Johnson would probably be the second name I'd put out there. Third name, that I think is like, that's the competition between Mailata, between Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Carter, Devontae Smith. Like, that's the battle, I think, is the third name on the list. And I think I might go down with Mailata. Like, my three would probably be A.J. Brown and the two tackles.
That's where I am. That's where and I'm a huge Jalen Carter fan. I think Carter might be 4 for me, but I would lean on the dependability of the 2 tackles. Maybe Carter 4, and then Hurts in that number 5 conversation. But again, that shows the depth of the Eagles and how difficult it is just to get to the top 3.